different position today. Hello. Hello everyone. It's 10 o'clock at night. We're gonna try something different. And this is very not like me, but also the reasoning being is very much like me, and is that I spent this whole entire day distracting myself and doing multitasking, and then trying to rush myself into getting things done fast, so that way I can have time to record in the daytime like I would like to. But then I was like, it's just not gonna happen. And then I was like, I'll just have to record the morning of. And then I was like, but I don't feel like doing that. I want to have a day where I can rest, and not be like, I got this to do and that to do and that to do. So we're recording at night. We're gonna edit this at night, and then by the time you watch this, it will be in the morning / afternoon, and I will be zoning out somewhere. So that sounds a little bit creepy, but yeah. And that is why I was thinking about whispering throughout this whole entire episode, but whispering is not good for your vocal cords. And also, I don't know if anyone is sensitive to ASMR type stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll whisper here and there. Maybe I'll just whisper here and there and then see how that goes. But it looks like I'm not sure if the audio is really being captured on here or not. But if it is, great. It doesn't look like it though. On the bars, it looks like it's very little. Anyways, today's episode, we are talking about dreams. I know in my last episode I said that I was going to talk about human design, which was what I was trying to record for this week, but then time and space and technology got the best of me. So I will record that another day. But tonight we're going to talk about dreams because it's fitting. And I forgot why I decided to do that. Well, I also wanted to talk about childhood stories, random childhood stories, because I love those, or at least my favorite ones. But then I was thinking about my podcast, and I was like, hello, is this about the little things that you like and love and brings you joy and stuff like that? But the childhood stories don't really fit with the theme. It's just an occasional memory that I have sometimes that comes up, and I'm just like, oh, the good old days. So yeah. And then it went back to human design, because something about human design, there was a little thing that I mentioned a lot when I was younger, which I'll talk about next time. And then I don't know why I'm out of breath. And then what was I doing? I was doing something. I was in the kitchen. I was thinking okay, what will be a filler, another thing that I can talk about that I love and enjoy, and happens often in life. And I was thinking, because there's so many topics. And I was thinking about, okay, childhood, okay, this, okay, that, stories. And then I was like, oh, of course. Dreams. Dreams, man. So we're about to get into it. I don't know if anyone else goes through this, but if they do, yay, because I I don't feel alone in it, but sometimes I just feel like, is anyone else feeling this way too? Because I can't be the only one. Like, life is already as like crazy as it is, and unique to every individual, but dreams is like a whole nother world and dimension, literally. And it is crazy, and it might have to do with the fact that I feel a lot, but it just feels so real, and it triggers emotions from me, actually. And sometimes it affects me in my waking world, but most of the time they're just very vivid and odd, and and just otherworldly. So yeah, and that's why I want to talk about it, because I was like, feeling. Because once again, we're going back to feelings, emotions, because they are important. So yeah, the first dream that I ever remembered having was actually a scary dream. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna say like the first dream that I like remembered, and it stuck with me forever till now. It still sticks with me, and I don't think about it often, but the only time I do think about it is when I mention like all the scary dreams that I've had, and knock on wood, I don't have one tonight, because but yeah, the first dream that I have memory of is a scary dream, but it's actually not that scary if you think about it, which I will get right into. But it was pretty, not terrifying, but it was pretty terrifying to little me. Yeah. So what happened was, and this is only what I can remember now, but I was a little kid, obviously, and I was in my house that I still live in. And there was like all these pirates, and they were like really dirty looking, and not like dirty, like they've been digging through dirt, or 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 just like living in a cave. Like, that's what they look like. They look like the pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean. Just really like a lot going on. And they kept following me around, and like, I don't want to say chasing, but I guess it was chasing. I mean, I'm gonna say it was chasing, but not like, running, because there's only so much room to run. And I was just like, oh my god, like, leave me alone, like, stop following me. And they just kept following me, and they were like, grown pirate men. So I was like, what the heck? And I was like, oh my god, there's beeping nowhere else to go. Like, I'm just a little girl. And the last place that I could like kind of hide and run to was in like the front door area, the entrance to the house, like in the foyer. Is that what it's called? In that little nook area, it's like the door, and then the little hallway-ish area, and then like you enter like the living room or whatever the first room that you enter into the house is. That little section, I was able to like hide in there. I don't know why I didn't open the door and like run out, but I was just like, oh my god, like I ran in there, and then I was like, turning around like, please. Why? And they were just all like, and they had big old eyes, and there was just so many of them, and they were just all looking at me with their eyes, and their eyes were just so big, and I was just like, oh my god, please, like, go away. And the next thing I know, I woke up, and I woke up in my great grandmother's arms, and she was like holding me down, because apparently my dream was just so like, I was just so distraught that I was like just talking and just like just like physically like, oh my god, get away from me. Like I was like fighting in my dream, and in my physical body I was just like and so she was like holding me down, like, oh my god, girl, like trying to wake me up. And I opened my eyes, and I was like in her arms, and I don't know if everyone if I saw everyone like in the room just looking at me like, are you okay, or what. I just remember my parents and my sisters, but I don't know if it was all of them or if it was like one or two. But I was just like and just like, oh my god, sweating, like terrified. I was like so yeah, so I blame that dream for being the reason why I don't like attention on me. Yeah, because of all the pirates staring at me, I was like, please don't look at me. Now I don't like attention on me. But I'm a weird kid, and I'm used to getting weird stares. So that's fine. I wish they wouldn't, but it's better than a bunch of pirates just being like, That's probably what celebrities feel like, huh? Just having people like just dead on, just staring. But yeah, so that was my first ever dream that I remembered. And then there was another dream, and it is also like a kind of terrifying dream as well. But something about it was like, I don't know what it was, but it was like, it had to do with like, I want to say something evil, but there was nothing evil that I saw. It was just the only piece of that dream that I remember was the last part of that dream, and it was me hiding behind a chair that my mom was sitting in and watching what was happening to my little sister, and she was getting her cheek cut, like just like a slice of it, as if it was like a piece of ham. And she wasn't bleeding or anything, like she wasn't crying or whatever. She was just like laying there like, okay, like just a sliver of cheek being cut off her face. And then my mom turned around in her chair and was looking down at me because I was like hiding behind her in the chair, and she was like, you're next. And I was like, ah. It was a scary dream. I also wanted to mention, going back to the pirate eyes, the pirate dream, I think it's really funny because that's the first like memory of like a dream that I could remember. And thinking back at it now, in the time and place that I'm in, I think it's like, what a coinky dink, but also like, that's, am I pushing it a little bit? Am I like, pulling at nothing right now to like full circle interpret it? But I was thinking, what if it wasn't pirates? What if it was a biblical angel? Because honestly, that's how it felt. Like, those memes, it's turned into a meme, but it's also like in the book, I guess. I don't know. I've never read the book, but I mean, that's where it is described, about how angels actually look. And when I first heard about that on via the internet, but when I first heard about it, and then like people started like trying to like, especially with graphic design and now with today's AI, they're like trying to like recreate visually what it was described as in the book. And so seeing it, I'm like, interesting. And it didn't scare me. It was like, I have never seen anything like this. So when I saw that, I was like, it took me back to like, huh, that's kind of like that scary dream that I had about the pirates, and they were all just looking at me with the eyes, and the eyes really stuck to me because I don't know. And why pirates? You know? But the eyes, they were just, that was the part that was like terrifying for me. Like, forget the fact that they were like dirty looking pirates. They were just like, and from then on I was like, nobody look at me. I'm shy, I'm scared. But yeah, so a little bit of like a could it be a biblical angel? Anyways, probably not, but you know those kids, they got the pure energy. Maybe she was trying to tell me something, and then I got too scared, so she was like, okay, she's not ready, she can't do it, she can't handle it, she can't handle the truth. What a shame. But we're here now, we're still young. We're still young. I'm gonna cry. So fitting. Okay, yes, so that happened. Yeah, not starting off on a good note, but I have other dreams too that are great. Another dream that I had was a nice dream, but I think it was definitely I wonder if it was definitely my first lucid dream. But when I woke up out of it, I was crying because I was sad. But sad in that I was like, my heart was like, ugh, I need this love. Question mark love. So what happened was that I was in my K-pop phase, and she fell off, and then she came back on, and then she fell off, and now she is in full force right now in present day. But back when I was like, sitting real cozy in the peak of my K-pop or Korea boo era. I had a dream, and I was once again in school. I was in my old elementary school building, I think. I want to say yes. All the buildings here look the same. Maybe it was my middle school. I think it was my middle school. Or maybe it was a mix. Either way, I was in a school building that I was familiar with, and I was hanging out with my latest K-pop boy group sensation, and I was hanging out with them. It wasn't like a normal everyday school situation. Like, it was a school building, yes, but it was like campus vibes, and also like nobody was really in the building except for us, and I guess we were just hanging out. And when in waking life, I think I was in middle school? I think I was in middle school, or maybe I was in high school. Either the end of middle school and then about to start high school. I think I was, somewhere in that era, in my pre-teens. Anyways, back into the dream. We were just hanging out and then I guess we decided to go back into the school building because we forgot something like a textbook or whatnot. And I forget what happened, but I guess the guys split up to, like, go wander around and do their own thing. And I was walking with one of the guys to go, like, find a textbook that he was looking for. And I forget what happened, but I remember walking back out into the hallway, and I was like kind of wondering where my favorite member was. And I was like, oh my god, I wanna hang out with him. I wanna go walk with him. Like, he wasn't the one who was like trying to look for a textbook. So I was like, I'm gonna go find my favorite member. And I remember being in the hallway, and oh my god, I remember being in the hallway, and I don't know why, but in my dream, the background music started to play, and it was Neo Lovesick. And I was like, the song was like just like washing over me. I was like, oh my god, I gotta go find this guy that I love, because like I don't want him to leave, and I need to tell him that that I love him, and I want us to be together. My little girl heart. And so I was like, running down the hallway like, oh my god, where is he? Where are you? Please, like, our time is running out. And, in the background, gotta change my answering machine. And I'm just like, where are you? And I think he came out of one of the classrooms. And did he come out of one of the classrooms? Yeah, I think he came out of one of the classrooms. And I can feel it. It's like it happened yesterday. And I was like, oh my god, there you are. And I was like, like he was about to leave, like, okay, I gotta go, like, I gotta go study or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And like, goodbye. And I had fun hanging out with you guys. And we hugged, and when he hugged me, it was like, it felt so real. It felt like I felt the squeeze, and just the I want to say engulf, the embrace. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, ugh. And then I woke up, and then I cried. Because I don't hug people often, or growing up there was not a lot of physical affection. So feeling that in my dream from like my favorite person at that moment, I was like, oh my god, that is amazing. And then I woke up and I was like, oh, it was all a dream. And I wish that I could, like, hug him for real, or just have a hug in general. And I was like hugging my pillow, crying like, I can't believe that happened. And then afterwards I like searched it up, like, oh my god, like it felt real. And they were like, yeah girl, it's because you were lucid dreaming. Because I was able to like search for him and then hug him back, and that made it feel even more like, oh my god. So yeah, the good old days. Now my dreams are just crazy. Now they're just like, it's like I threw up a rainbow or something. Yeah, I'm trying to think of another dream. There's so many. I could just pull out my journal and just be like, on this day I dreamt about this, and on this day I dreamt about that. After, I think since then, like I had like a couple of like occasional vivid dreams, but especially since after the pandemic, or at least since like was it 2019? I guess like middle 2019 going into 2020 and then going into a deep rabbit hole that I will never get out of, into spirituality and stuff. Since then, my dreams have been very vivid and very just discombobulated, and very and for all of it very lucid too. Yeah. And it just feels like, it honestly feels like I'm living and traveling in different worlds every time. It's very strange. And after, like, in some of the dreams, they're like weird, but they're not like that weird where it's like, that was kind of creepy. But in other dreams, when it is kind of like weird or like, ooh, a little bit scary, it's not too scary. At least, like, it would be scary definitely for me if I was younger, but like now I'm like, this is a situation that we can handle. Or at least this is how I would handle it since I'm dreaming. And because I'm dreaming and I'm aware that I'm dreaming and this is happening, I'm going to let it happen, but this is what I'm going to do. And then I handle it however I try to handle it in my dream. And then I wake up and I'm like, okay, so, you know, your girl, she's brave now. She can tackle the worlds that she's traveling through. But for the most part, I just kind of let the storyline go, and it takes us places that I've never been before. And some of them I feel like are symbolic of like things in my waking life, but then other times it's very like random. Like this one dream, I think this was like my first like crazy intense, not intense, but like symbolic, but also like just like a bunch of crazy stuff happening in it, that it was like kind of terrifying, not terrifying, but like kind of like, what the heck? And then also like, okay, cool. So in the dream, I don't know how it starts. Oh, I do remember how it starts. Okay, in the dream, I was I was in school again, constantly in school. I'm in the school of life. I dropped out of college, but boy oh boy do I have so much. A well, a black hole full of lessons and things that I've learned in life. Not your basic necessities, but the living part, the lifing part. It's rough, but your girl is tough. She's a tough soldier. And I hope the universe doesn't take that as a sign like, oh. Anyways, I digress. In the dream, I was in school again because I am forever learning and living. And it was like a kind of like, I was going to say like a witch school, but I want to say it was like kind of Hogwarts-y vibes because, you know, wizards and witches. But because most of my life involves a lot of women, it's giving the theme of witches. Anyway, so I'm a student in class, and my teacher, she, you know, is a regular looking teacher. Everything is regular looking. It just looks like, you know, it looks like a place that belongs in Lemony Snicket. Okay, whatever. If you read that book, the Unfortunate Events book, then it's giving that vibe, that setting. But yeah, anyways, the teacher's like, oh my god, everybody do your work, do your homework, and yeah. And it was like a class for like drawing symbols and stuff. I forget what it's called. There's a word for that. I forget what it is. But I was drawing in class, and I ended up drawing like this thing. And if you're watching, I am drawing the Holy Trinity. I think that's what it's called. I have no idea. And yeah, I was drawing that symbol, and then I think class was over, or either class was over or class was still continuing, but we took it outside. And our teacher, I don't know, I can't remember if she like brought up, like she abracadabraed a gigantic rat, or if my dream was like, okay, next scene, now you're outside and you're trying to fight off this gigantic rat. So either way, I was fighting this gigantic rat, and I was like, oh my god. And we were like, I had my wand and I was like kind of like zapping and just being like, no, get away from me, zap zap zap. And then it was just like, Eee! And still chasing after me. And I don't know if it also had powers. I mean, it definitely did have powers, but I don't know if it like used powers on me too. You know what? I don't know. I don't remember. I need to find where my journal bug is, but it don't matter, because the crazy part, and this is like gonna be the craziest part out of this whole entire dream that I'm having. The gigantic rat ripped its spine out, and it wasn't like that vivid for the spine ripping part. It wasn't like, watch it, dude, like it wasn't that gory. So it was just like, yank. And then I think it was like trying to use its spine as a wand, but I was like, ugh. And I can't remember if it was eating its own spine or not, but I think it was eating on something. Maybe it was eating its, or I don't know. It ripped its spine out. That's all that I remember, and it was still moving and still trying to attack. And I was like, oh, beeping no. And then I drew my little symbol thing that I drew in class with my wand, and so it kind of like illuminated and like stuck in the air. Like I drew the symbol in the air, and it was like, like glowing. Like it was like I drew as if I was drawing on a piece of paper, and then it kind of just like pew, and the rat disappeared. Either it disappeared or it definitely died some way, somehow. But yeah, and I was just like, oh my god, that was so crazy. And then my dream was like, okay, next scene. And then I was hanging out with my friends in school, and these are girls that I don't know in real life, but in my dream it was like, they're your friends. So yeah, and we were in a classroom, in a small classroom, and we were in one of those classrooms that had those two-way mirror chalkboard thingies. So on the other side of that classroom mirror thingy was a lecture classroom, but I didn't know until later in the dream. We had to leave because there was a class starting on the other side, and we were like, oh, we gotta go. But anyways, I was with these girls in this little classroom, and we were using that empty classroom, not the lecture one, the small part of the classroom on the other side, to practice, because I guess we were in a group or something that we were trying to make happen. Or no. I forget what we were practicing for. I think we were practicing or rehearsing for something, but we had one of our friends come in, and I think it was a guy, but I'm not sure. But he was a photographer, so he was gonna take pictures for us, and then he brings in his other friend, and his other friend wants to joke around, and so he's wearing a Scream costume or something like that. He comes in and he's like, "Ooh," and he's trying to scare us, and I'm just crouching down oh my god, go away, we're busy here, stop messing around. And then after he leaves, the guy friend who was taking the photos, he was like, okay, we gotta go because I have like a surprise for you guys. And we were like, what? Like, this is too much going on. First, we're just, trying to prepare ourselves, compose ourselves, and then your friend comes in and scares the bejesus out of us, and now you're telling us that you got exciting news for us? Like, what is going on? And we pack our stuff and we get ready to go with him because he's like, come on, I gotta show you guys something. Like, I gotta take you somewhere. And at the same time, the bell rings and there's a class coming in on the other side of the chalkboard two-way mirror thingy, and they're about to start class in there. Yeah, so it goes, so then my dream goes to like the next scene, and some of the girls are going in the taxi in front of my house. They're going inside the taxi, and they're like, excited, and some of them have like the taxi is like a regular taxi. I don't know how many people were fitting in there, but I want to say like 4 or 5 people were fitting in the back. But they were like squeezing themselves in there and they were so excited. They were like, oh my god. The feeling was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get my big break. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is so exciting. And like, when am I, like, I guess waiting for the next car or next whatever transportation, and like, who is gonna come along with me, who in my family is gonna come along with me. So I'm saying goodbye to the girls, close the taxi car, and they drive off first, and I'm like, waiting outside, and I turn around to my front steps, and our guy friend, he's like standing there and he's waiting, and I'm suddenly like, I don't know why, but in my dream, like, took me out of my body. So I'm watching myself, and I'm wearing my red dress that I wear constantly all the time. And I'm like so happy, and I'm just like spinning around like, oh my god, like, I'm so excited. I don't know where we're gonna go, but like, my body was like, it's good news. And I'm wearing a red dress, and I'm like waiting for like the next car to come, and I'm like, okay, like, who's gonna come with me? Like, which person in my family's gonna come with me? And the guy friends just look at me like, huh. not like huh, like, girl, you gotta be kidding, but just like, oh, she's so silly, and just like, like leaning, arms crossed, like, you silly girl. And I'm just like, oh my god, I'm so excited. Just so like, ignorant is bliss kind of like attitude or vibe, or just like really just childlike, like, ee giddy. And it starts to rain a little bit, like trickling rain, but I'm still like out in the sidewalk, just like spinning around, just like, oh my god, oh my gosh. And that's how my dream, that's how that dream ends. And I woke up from that, and I was like, what the beep? What? And yeah, I had to write. I was like, oh my god, hold your horses, everybody. This is fresh from the brain. It was crazy. And then from that dream on, I had a lot of vivid, really weird, crazy dreams that just had like little pieces of everything and focuses on random things. And I've been jotting those down. But yeah, some of them are like sad, some of them are like kind of scary, but like at the end it's like, but don't worry, you made it through. And some of them are sad, where in the dream, in the end, I'm like crying, and then I wake up and then I'm like crying for real, because I'm like, ooh. So yeah, anyways, all this to say that dreams are crazy. Not dreams like ambitions or goals, but like in the world of dreams, I feel like we don't talk about that enough. I would love if there was like a docu-series on like Netflix or something, if someone did something talking about dreams and symbolic stuff like that we see. I feel like there is a connection and a world within that. So yeah, and a lot of the interpretations that I end up looking up, they have like similarities in other different cultures too, and for what their meanings of it are. So like I think that's an interesting connection as well. So yeah, dreams, crazy stuff that make you feel intense emotions and just see things that are just like you thought your imagination was crazy, your dreams. She said we have no limits. There is no right or wrong. There's no physics. It's all make believe, for real, for real. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. That was the filler episode. I'm tired. I want to lay down. I need to edit. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys can hear me because I'm like talking really quiet. Yeah. I hope you guys had a great week, and if you guys didn't, then I hope you guys have a great weekend. This weekend is going to be Lunar New Year, so happy Lunar New Year. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. And well, I was gonna say good night, but you guys are probably not. Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Bye.